Hello, hello, hello. Hello, sis. How are you? How is everyone? Hello. Huh. Phew. Okay. Little bit of a rush there. Lay down to take a quick nap and almost overslept. I woke up, I was like, oh, it's 1:14. I gotta get ready. But my grandson was a major help. So let me start by saying welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Come On in the Den. I am your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another session of Create and Relate. I am so happy, Lori. So glad to see you here too. I am. Okay, so today, of course, is Set It Up Saturday, and our subscriber number is still at 469. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Forgive me, y'all. Like I said, I just woke up. But my viewing hours have gone up to 1,714.8. So it is rising. If you think just a week ago, we were at 1,600. So we're climbing. We're climbing. We are. And I'm happy about that. What am I sipping on? Today, y'all, I'm keeping it simple. I am sipping on water. Yes. Not to say that I might not go get a cup of coffee later. I just might. But for right now, it's water. And I'm glad you waited for me. I okay. Setting up for the week. So I'm planning on crocheting this week. I'm planning on, like I do every week, but I'm still in the progress of restructuring my schedule so that I can put a little more time into my crocheting and trying to maneuver around other things that I have to do. So I'm trying to work out a schedule so that I can dedicate that time to it. Now, what I did, and I encourage everybody to do this, especially if you have a lot of whips. I think I kind of showed you a glimpse of this Thursday. What I've done is put my dates here and what project I plan to focus on for those days. Like today, I'm focusing on the thermal half double crochet blankets. And this morning I bordered this one and made this one. Got this one more than halfway done. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete. My goal is to have 10 by the end of the day. Now, the reason I set my numbers kind of low is number one, to not overwhelm myself. And number two, I know that I tend to get bored with the same color, and all of my panels in the middle are going to be the same color. And it'll give me the opportunity to pick something else up and work on it as well. Be it go to the next days or go back a day. But yesterday, I worked more on the carpenter's wheel. Look at my stack, y'all. Look at my stack. Sister was working. Yes, I was. I think, let me see, 4, 8. I have 12 now. I have 12. I know that doesn't seem like a big jump from 3, but this is happening in the process. So I got most of this one done, and I got half of that one done. And yesterday, y'all, I was busy. I left the house at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, made 6 stops before I came back home, which put me back home right around 1:15, gave me enough time to get in, get myself together, go get the kids from the bus stop. Mind you, all this time I'm on the phone. Got in, got them their snack, got them set up for the afternoon, and then I was able to come back and start doing crocheting. So I don't think getting 3 of those done yesterday was bad at all. I really don't. So what I have for this week is my thermal squares, which I showed you, my 9-inch corner to corner squares. They're back here. I still keep everything close, but these are they. And these, even though I plan on focusing on these tomorrow, these I'm almost doing as I go, because as I work through a skein, like this is one of the next colors that I'll be going through. And once I'm done with this, I know I have to make a thermal square out of this if there's enough left after I put another round on this. So my plan is to try to get 2 rounds onto that out of this. If I can successfully get 1 complete round, then I know I'll have enough to do a corner to corner or a thermal square. It might end up being a thermal square, I'm not sure. But today's focus is the thermal square, and I have yarn right here in front of me in the case that my phone is sitting on that will be worked on, that will be working on the thermal. Y'all, I'm putting stuff down and don't know where I'm putting it. Thermals. Tuesday, I'm going back to the salsa. This pretty thing right here. And let me see, because I wrote down everything. I just have to find a piece of paper right here beside me. So as of right now, I have, I think I said I had 7 complete squares, 7 out of 49 thermal squares, 3 out of 36 corner to corner squares. I have 101 rows done of the salsa blanket, and that's going to be 200 rows, so 99 rows to go. Talking about yarn, I have not received my package yet. And then the solid square, this pretty one that I showed you. This I want to add to one of the squares that can be used. Yeah, this is the one that I call the silent. That's all it said in the caption that it was making. But I did put the link in the description box below, and it's one of the ones that I want to use for the 7-inch squares that we have for this month. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I really, really do. And then the carpenter's wheel, I showed you that. That one, I've done 12 of 64. The 7-inch squares, yes. I'm still working on those, y'all. When I get a chance, I'll put a round on each one of those. So I keep mixing my papers up. And then the half double squares. Now that one I had put aside, and I ran into it last night. And I was like, oh yeah. These beauties. So I'll be working on those this week as well. And I got 6 of 42 of those done. There is a blanket that I have over there that's for someone I'm going to pull it out and get it done because I only have 8 more rows to do on that. And then I have a few other things that I want to make this week, like headbands, a hat, and a cowl. And I was commissioned to make a thick, long scarf with pockets. There was a gentleman, Mr. Timothy, that I made a scarf for over at Walmart. And he wants a purple one, but he wants it thicker to kind of, go around his shoulders. And he says, but I don't want to look like I don't want to look like a girl. Don't make me look feminine. I told him, I said, I got you. So I'm kind of excited to work on that for him. And that's going to be purple. And y'all know that's my favorite color. So I won't have a problem working on that one. Oh my goodness. I keep moving paper, y'all. Okay, here we go. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on this week. All I'm talking about today, which all of us talk about, and Lori talks about it every Monday, which is yarn management, and she touches on it every day. And I think we all do because we all, BB, how are you? But we all have our little tips and stuff. But the best advice that I can give everybody, like right now, I'm trying to find a system that works for me. And that's what I encourage everybody to do. I look at these other channels and I see how easy it is for them to have the vision and go about making it work per their vision. For some reason, mine doesn't work like that. Please forgive me, guys. My mouth is very dry. But it doesn't quite work that way for me. I don't understand why. That's a part of my psyche I have not delved into enough to understand, why I can't make those two mesh. I'm the one that has to get the paper and draw it out. I have to literally draw it out like my little portion of a yarn wall. I know what I want in there. I know I want my big balls in the top 3 spaces, and then the other 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. The other 15 spaces, I want my regular skeins of yarn. Like the big twists, those are going up top because I can get 4 of those in a square. And the other ones, like the mainstay, excuse me, the Red Heart Super Saver, the big twist, those are going to go in the rest of them. And I know that I can get 9 in each one. So I want to get that situated. The cabinet that I purchased from Temu, practically got it free. Lori said, just means you're a visual. Yes. But sometimes, Lori, you start doing things and you start feeling like, why am I so different? Why can't I do this like everybody else? And, we're all human and we get to those points where what we all have to remember is to not beat ourselves up. We have to learn to give ourselves grace. And if it means it, lots of times it means working through the process. And those words roll off your tongue real easy. Sometimes it's difficult. But what I find works best for me is take baby steps. I am one of those ones, if you tell me, clean up your room. Okay. Grab the first thing I see. When I go to put it in its place, like let's say it's a pair of socks. I will fold that pair of socks. And when I open the drawer, if that drawer doesn't look right, then I want to stop and organize that drawer, which generally means taking everything out of the drawer and putting it back in properly. Things that don't belong in there need to come out So then I have to put them in the piles that they belong in. And then I have to go to the next drawer and do the same thing. Inevitably, I'll find something in there like a toy or something that I hid from one of the kids. And then I'm out in the living room. Oh, well, when I'm out in the living room, I might as well wash these few dishes while I'm here in the kitchen. And, it's close to snack time. It's not too early to give the kids a snack. That's how my squirrely brain works. So that 15 minutes that I dedicated to room time, most of it was spent in that sock drawer, that first item that I picked up. And all I had to do was fold the socks up and toss them in the drawer. Yes, I organized my sock drawer. Guys, my delicate drawer, the bottoms go in one drawer. They're lined up, they're rolled, and they're lined up in rows. 3 rows of rolls. Because my philosophy is you need 30 pair of those, and you need at least 15 of the toppers. And the 15 toppers, of course, they're bigger than the bottoms, so they go in the other drawer up top. The socks go under the toppers, and everything is lined up nice and neat. But when you're on when it's like doctor's appointment and I'm getting ready to go take a shower, I go in and I'm grabbing everything and getting it together, and it'll get out of sorts, and I don't really think about it again. And then when I do go back in there, yeah, that's how the mind works. That's why when my neurologist said everything I was having trouble with was normal side effects, I was so excited and said, woohoo, I'm normal. Seriously, it's not how things usually go for me. I can relate 1,000%. Yes, I can relate 1,000%. Speaking of 1,000%, I left this so y'all could see it. Y'all, this has got to be one of my favorite outfits. I got this for my 60th birthday. My grandson gave me that for my 60th birthday. And every opportunity I get without, it was the only time I've made it. What is it about neurologists that is it that they have no humor? Maybe we need to give them funny bones. Oh, because mine, ooh, bless his heart. I mean, he has to be one of the most thorough doctors that I have. I love him as a doctor. As a doctor. But yes, I absolutely love this. And every opportunity I get, I'm wearing it. So it gets worn at least once a week. It does. And it was just before my birthday this year, I got ready to put it on. And my grandson said to me, Grandma, I didn't want to tell you this, but those are pajamas. I said, well, baby, that's fine. No one knew. No one knew. I don't mind wearing this so everybody can see how much he thinks of his grandma. I don't mind that at all. And then the shirt that I have on today, my granddaughter has leopard skin tights and leopard print tights and a shirt that's black and has leopard print in it. So she's dressing like Grandma today. Grandma loves her leopard print. I guess they say that's a sign that a woman is getting old. Never that. I refuse to get that way. It's not a t-shirt. Sis, the material is so thin. It is like super, super, super thin. And I thought, and I thought it was just I don't know. I don't know, but I didn't think it was PJs. There was nothing that said it was PJs. It was folded real nice and neatly and put in a gift bag. Hmm. Along with a pouch that has become a Notions pouch for me that says, I make 60 look damn good. Hmm. And a necklace that says Mama that I keep in my wallet because the chain was too thin and too small for my neck. I'm too rough for a thin chain. And she got the right she got the right metal because my neck is very sensitive and I can't wear a lot of things. And there is one thing that I have that I'm supposed to be wearing that looks like a t-shirt to me. I thought you were not getting. I'm not getting old or I am not. I refuse. More relief from the migraines. Oh, bless your heart. However, I think neurologists deal with really serious stuff. So that's why. But I don't know. Maybe it's just my take on life. I had to buckle down and get really, really serious this week. But I'm grateful for these moments that I have with you all because it gives me that moment to lighten up. And I think that's what everybody needs. And I don't know, from the little time that I had in the medical field, it just seemed to me when you went into the facility heavy, you left heavier, and it just seems like it would be just so much more therapeutic and happy to make it jovial. But then again, like I said, that's me. That's how I go into jobs. I can go in. When I was at the hotel um, last, there were days like weekends that we knew teams were coming. And even though I was the check-in person, when we had big crowds coming, now, y'all, we had a small hotel. We only had 90 rooms. But when we had teams coming and we knew all of our double queens were going to be rented out, I would go into work 15 minutes early, get my mind straight. And as soon as I got in, I would start pre-making the keys and pre-setting rooms and everything. So when they walked in, all they had to do was show me their credentials and be sent to their room. I couldn't, there was no room for, oh, this is going to be such a long day. Oh, I really don't want to be here today. There was no room for that. So yeah, mhm. I also have, see, there we are. There we are. Twins and stitches. I can do them on my fingers, but I prefer this here. This and this come from me washing dishes. We have, what's it called? Epoxy resin. You know that stuff that's on everything? Epoxy resin covers everything. So I have to lean when I wash the dishes, and I'm leaning on the sink here. So it really promotes and exacerbates the eczema. Every now and then, I can only do white gold. Yellow gold, we're going to have problems. We're going to have serious problems with yellow gold. I can do white gold and sterling, and is it sterling silver? I think it is. Most of the time we try to stick with the white gold because, yes, sterling silver. I can do white gold and sterling silver. I have very few items that are sterling. Most of it is white gold because I don't have a problem with that. but put me in gold or something that's not, of those qualities, and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Um, yeah, yeah. But it's amazing. I don't have I don't have yarns. Well, that's not a metal. That's not a metal. And I haven't had any adverse effects with any of my crochet hooks either. So I guess that's a good thing. Hmm, that's weird. And speaking of metals, and I know this is going to sound really weird, there are only certain aluminum foils that I can touch. Reynolds Wrap and Great Value. We have tried some of the others. I touch it and I'm itching instantly. My hubby had to get me a whole different wedding ring because the first one, which I loved, because it gave me a serious, oh, yes, I can only do go if it's, yeah, yeah. But my daughter had a cookout one year and she went to Food Lion and used their brand of aluminum foil, and I'm trying to help everybody get everything wrapped up. And I grabbed the aluminum foil and I'm covering the meats. And all of a sudden I'm like, and my daughter's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. My hands haven't itched like this since, and I started telling her about sometimes. And I was like, aluminum foil will do it too. If it's not Reynolds or if it's not. And she's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm like, what? And she showed it to me. I was like, Benadryl and soap and water. That's what we need right now. Yeah, I'm a weird one. I'm a weird one. Quick update on the toe because I forgot about the health and all that good stuff. The toe is great, guys. The toe is absolutely great. There is still minor discoloring. Um, it looks more like bruising, but after I watched him the whole procedure, and when I saw how he was digging down in that toe, I figured it was going to be bruised the rest of my life. The rest of my life. I didn't even know my nail bed was that deep. When he was sticking that thing in there, I was like, sir, sir, that's a toe, not a finger. Can we? He was like, I'm trying to get to the bottom of the nail bed. We've got to get the acid down there. And the procedure, when he told me what he had to do, it sounded much worse than it was. I mean, he put the cold spray up there. He gave me the numbing needles. The needle itself didn't hurt. I couldn't feel it when the medicine goes in. That was the only painful part of the process. The amount of pressure that you feel when they're putting that numbing medication in. Oh my goodness. And then of course he leaves the room for about 20 minutes to make sure that the numbing medicine has set in properly. And then he came back, did a cut, a snip, and pulled everything out. And then he went in with that thing and started digging in there. He dipped it in the solution and went in there and cleaned it and twirled it and did. And then he explained to me that it was an acid that would kill that portion of the root of the toenail, so the toenail would grow straight instead of like this. And because he opened up space on the skin side for the toenail so that the skin and the toenail would learn to share real estate down there. And yeah, so like I said, it's almost looking normal, but it looks a lot better than I thought it would look when he first, explained everything to me. I can walk on it without limping. It doesn't hurt. There's no numbness, there's no pain. The kids keep bumping into it. It doesn't hurt at all. I can squeeze it like I can squeeze my other toes. It's the regular toenail. It's just, you know, it's just gotta, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all, but it's better. Mood meter, to be completely honest, I'm going to put the mood at about a 7. You all always make my mood better, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Um, Number one, for taking your time out to spend this time with me. I am so grateful. I'm grateful for your comments during and after the live. Just the engagement is, I thank you guys from the bottom of my I thank you guys so much. And the morale boost that you all give me, it's greatly appreciated. And then the health meter, I have not allowed the stress to get to the point that it is affecting my health. So my health is still at about a 9.5. And I don't think it can go higher than that until I can do something about the arthritis. I can understand, Kitty, because I've had foot surgery, and the doctor scared me. What he said, but now it looks like it did. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I look forward to, and my grandkids look forward to my lives. They always want to come say hi, but I told them, I said, we can't do that. We have to pick and choose our times there. Maybe when we're modeling something, but yeah, you got, and I think part of it is the fact that this is like a meeting with friends. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, BB. But this is like a meeting with friends. 3 days a week we get together for an hour and just sit and chit chat, and it's fun. It's uplifting, and it makes me feel good. And when you guys go back and catch the replay. But yes, back to the top of the hour. Like I was saying, I have to schedule my day so that I can allow for change, because I have OCD. It takes me a while to break routines, to successfully break routines. I can go about now and say, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And I will follow it for a day or two, as long as I can look at that list and go by that list, and hope to go and look at it every day so I can follow it. But it's more than just being a creature of habit. Sometimes that drives me into anxiety. Sometimes it drives me into shutting down. And I don't want to do either one of those. I think that is why you're able to do these tutorials now. Yes. But so I end up going back to the old way of, this is what I do. Like my sleep pattern. My sleep pattern has changed, not because I wanted it to, but because I'm finding it really hard to sleep at night. I'm sleeping in the afternoons and in the evenings. And between those two times, I'll end up getting maybe 5 hours tops in sleep. And then I'm up all night. And I mean up all night, to the point that sometimes I'm just laying there looking at the ceiling and my mind is racing so bad, like, I need to be doing something. I should be doing something. This is time wasted. I could be crocheting something. I could be doing research. There's so many things, but then I'm thinking about the fact that I have to be considerate to everyone else in the house, because when I crochet, I'm looking at TV, which means I have the volume up. We like to keep the doors open at night so that we can hear everybody. My daughter, being that she takes care of me, Stretch Factor plays a part as well. Yes, but being that she takes care of me, she almost demands, well, she can't demand but so much because I'm still her mama. But she almost demands that I keep the door open because if anything happens, she wants to be able to hear me. Along with the other list of things that I have sleep apnea. So I'm a snorer. I do have a CPAP machine. Do I use it? No. And it's a legitimate reason. It's a legitimate reason. So don't fuss at me, Joe. I don't use my CPAP machine because the airflow is too strong. When I first had a CPAP machine, it was perfect. And when I moved, something got messed up in it. So I took it back and I got another one. And when I got the second one, he said that the module will only go up to 18. He put it on 18 and he refuses to lower that number. And that's like driving down the road facing the wind with no windshield at 75, 80 miles an hour when the wind is blowing against you. And it's like, and I can't sleep like that. I'm forcing myself to breathe out against this air that's pushing in my face because it's a constant flow, and then it just like rushes in. Have you ever blown into a baby's face? And they get that look that they do. That's what it feels like when it's blowing in. I'm like, because I can't force that air back out that it's forcing in. And it's like it's rushing in there to fill up those lungs. And then I'm, ugh. Get yourself one of those, have cushion under your nose. Mine the first one had the whole cushion that went around here. And of course, I had the marks on my face from having to wear it. And then I got the one that just went around the nose because I'm learning how to sleep with my mouth closed. So that's what we were trying, but it forces the air in so hard. And if you've ever been around anybody who's had a CPAP machine, when they open their mouth with that CPAP machine on, oh my God. It's a horrendous sound. It's but really, really loud. Yeah. It's not a pleasant sound. It's like snoring times 10. It's like the worst snoring times 10. But yeah. So hopefully I've been doing well. The biggest thing is that we wanted to make sure my blood pressure was going to stay under control. But I've not been on blood pressure, guys. I've not been on blood pressure medication for over a year. It started out a little trial thing. Just before my 61st birthday, I went to my doctor and told her I didn't want to take it anymore. I didn't feel like it was helping me. And she says, well, let's see if we can wean you. And I'm like, honestly, I haven't taken it for a couple of weeks. And when I came in here today, my blood pressure was just about perfect. So I really don't want to. She says, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. We'll try that for 3 months. And if it doesn't work, if we see any, if it's not a stressful situation where your blood pressure will naturally rise or, something along those lines. But if you come in here and you're calm and your blood pressure's up, you're going back on the meds. I said, cool, we got this. It's been a year and almost 2 months and no blood pressure medicine. I am down to my 2, maybe 3 pills a day. Tomorrow it's 3 pills, and then the rest of the week it'll be 2 pills, and that's my fluid pill, my happy pill, and my vitamin D pill. And I feel good about that. The one thing that I'm pushing to hopefully get off of next is the Sam. Hi, Tina. I'm sorry. I didn't look at it. I saw hooking, and then I was thinking, I'm sorry. But hi, Tina. How are you, my love? But I'm hoping to get off of the fluid pills. We don't, thank you, Tina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We don't see me getting off the fluid pills anytime soon. The one thing that may happen, they might reduce the dosage. They already have reduced it some because I was supposed to be taking 40 milligrams twice a day. I only have to take it once a day now. My happy pill, I was also taking that twice a day, and we're down to once a day with that. So, yay, Marsha! How are you, my Jamaican mommy? Yes, so good things, happy things, headed in the right direction. Once again, after such a horrifying climb, the weight is starting to go back down. So I go to the doctor, not this week coming, but next week. And I'll let y'all know what those numbers look like. So yeah, I'm excited about that because it has started inching back up and inching back up. That's wonderful news that you were able to cut back on your meds. Thank you. I am blessed and highly favored. How are you? I am. I'm on the stressed side, but I'm happy to be here, and I'm thankful for you guys being here with me because, like I said, you all keep my spirits lifted, and with what we are going through, and those of you who have helped me, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. To whatever degree of capacity that you have helped, you have no idea. Conversations, the phone calls, the kind words, so forth and so on. I love each and every one of you, and I thank you. My family thanks you. But handling everything that we've been handling, and any other time a situation like this, I could see myself very different. But it's like when I know Tuesday's coming, Thursday's coming, Saturday's coming, and I get to have tea or coffee or water or whatever with my friends, then it gives me something to look forward to. It gives me something to work for, and you guys, like I said, you guys are great. You guys are absolutely great. And I love from the bottom of my heart, I love each and every one of you sincerely. Love and hugs, yes. Oh, and I'm funny, and and I love you too, Marsha. But yes, those are going to be the things that I'm working on this coming. Sorry about that. But this coming week, I have, like I said, left myself open to work on other things as well. And I think the way I'm setting the schedule up now is a little better for me because I'm not locking myself into so many projects at one time. There is one thing that I have, and that's the scarf that's commissioned. I'm not starting on that until next Sunday. I told him, I asked him, please give me a month. But I did put on the paper that when I start that one, on that project, I'm going all in, which means that from the time I start it until I finish it. That's going to be the only thing I work on. But I want to get everything else set up and out of the way so that I won't feel guilty about not giving them attention. Isn't it funny how we feel guilty for not giving our yarn attention? When I said it out loud, it was kind of funny, cute funny, but it was, yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Yes. So what are you all working on? What is everybody working on now? And I didn't ask you, and I'm so sorry, but what are we sipping on? Like I told you, I got my water. I'm going to stay on these thermals. I do want to do a few more today, even if I don't border them, just to get the base part done, because I'm only bordering them with a single crochet. I'm using my eye hook, my 6.0, doing 25 stitches across and 25 rows up. I know it looks like it should be longer or taller, but this is the thermal half double crochet. And I am planning on doing a tutorial for it. It's not like the quilted half double crochet. It's different in hook placement. And it gives you a really thick but pliable fabric. It's really thick. And guys, nothing's blowing through that. So speaking of stuff blowing through, okay. While I have you here and you're speaking of square number 2, guys, please, if you are interested in helping out organizations, let me see, Riker Blanket, the last turtleneck hoodie, the last hat, and Mother's mittens, along with my squares. Okay, you staying busy. Zoila, how are you? I'm driving, but I had to pull over to tell you, Kitty, we love you. Oh, thank you, Zoila. Be safe out there, please. Please be safe out there. And Marcia said I did a couple of rows of half double crochet. Now I'm back to adding the puff stitches. Okay, cool. Yesterday I was wearing my Just For Me cardigan, which every time I leave the house I have it on because I get so many compliments on it, and it really makes me feel good. And the fact that people can identify with the fact that it was crocheted. You know, I have not had anyone come to me yet. Yes, I'm getting ready to. Eileen, how are you? I haven't had anyone, and I hope I'm not jinxing myself, to come to me yet and say, "Did you knit that yourself?" Even though my nickname from one of the ladies over at Walmart is Knit One Purl Two. Okay. I got you. So when I went to the bus stop yesterday, it was very, very, very windy. And it was 39 degrees. Guys. I can normally handle 30, 39, 40 degree weather. But when the wind is blowing as strong as it was, and the fact that we are surrounded by water, and when that wind comes off that water, it's exceptionally cold during the cold months. I was telling the girl that I was sitting at the bus stop beside, I can count every stitch without looking at it. And mine was done in half double crochet. Tina said, I'm making a queen. So, oh, yes. Awesome, Tina. Yes. I am also making a queen size blanket for that. I just haven't decided which one is going to be that. But several of my blankets, I'm working on 7 of them this week. Several of those are going to be queen size blankets. I don't know which one is going domestic things, sis. Domestic. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm working on my Stitcherhood blanket too. I am going to I'm sorry. I am going to do a video when I decide which one it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be this one because I really like but it's going to Texas. Never mind. Never mind. My whole thought process just changed. It's going to Texas. So I can't do the thermal. The corner to corner won't be bad. The corner to corner won't be bad. So even though, hey, that would be doubling up. I'm doing the carpenter's wheel. And it's the half double. It's the corner to corner. And so that's not, too thick and it's not heavy. So that's a possibility. Or see how I do? I put stuff down and I don't know where I put it. And I just showed it to y'all. Here it is. This corner to corner, these are the larger squares. These are the 9-inch squares. So this is a possibility because it's multicolored. And then I also thought of doing one in those colors because I think I do have the colors here. And I could do something in those colors. Maybe my first thought was a filet blanket because that would there is a certain place, there's a certain organization. In the description box, guys, I did the link is there to Camille's channel so that you can go get all the information you need about that. I wrote stuff everywhere. I did. So keeping up with it is, here we go. Okay, there we go. I thought about a filet blanket for the Stitcherhood blanket. So, and that would be something like really, really light and lacy, and maybe putting like a design in the middle of it so that it could, continue to be light and lacy. It gets really, really hot in Texas. It gets muggy hot in Texas. My son lives in San Antonio, and even though I've only been down there twice to visit him, I remember when I was there as 10 in 10 in Houston. And while we were in Houston that week and a half, my aunt took me down to Austin. And everywhere we went, it was hot. It was hot. And we went down there in like early spring. And it was hot. So, keeping that in mind, that's why, when I first picked up the thermal, I was like, I thought about this, but it's like when I said it out loud, and I guess that's why I sit here and talk to myself so much, because I have to say stuff out loud so that I can hear it. I hear it on the inside, but to really, really hear it, I don't know if that makes sense or not. But yeah, I thought about this one as well. I did. But if I do something like this, I'm going to have to change my surrounding stitches. I like what's around the flower here at the beginning. I like that part, but I think I would go with lighter colors, because the lighter colors kind of tell the heat, hey, not today. Let me jump to the shout outs real quick. I want to make sure I tell you those. So We do know that Taco Tuesday just passed this week. The video is not up for some reason. YouTube pulled it. We don't know why. But the challenges themselves are on Juan's community post page. So the link is in the description box to his channel, and just go to his community post and the challenges are there. It's only 3. It's only 3 challenges. Also, our Michelle, has given us some beautiful romantic croquet, that one. Croquette crochet ideas. And she gives you all the things about them. Check her out. She shows you pictures, gives you every place you need to go to find them. And there's some really good makes in there. You'll also find in the description box the link to Camille's channel. You will find the link to her welcoming you to the Stitcherhood journey, to that video, so you can learn all about what the Stitcherhood is about. And thank you, Leni. Thank you so, so much. I knew right away when I saw that I wanted to be involved. So if you have a heart for donating, for giving, for making for, that's a good one as well. And the Auntie Setta does this Make 9 projects, and she's listed her 9 projects. I put the link in the description box below for that video as well. She just completed her first of her 9, and it's curtains, and they're absolutely beautiful. She did the stash busting thing. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Since it's in Dallas. It's in Dallas. Okay, and another creator that you all have not heard me speak of, but I absolutely adore this sweet little lady. She sits in her chair and she crochets and she talks to us, and she is just so adorable. And that's Miss Bernadine. The name of her channel is How the Hook Turns. She is simply adorable. So please go give her a check. Please check her out. You'll also see the link to this square, and how to make it. If you get confused, if it seems complicating, anything, email me. Just email me. I will walk you through it. We'll do it together. Whatever you need, we got this. And that's if you want to make this one. It's absolutely beautiful for the 7-inch squares that we're doing. The only recommendation I have for the 7-inch is not to add that final round. Stop at round number 6 and don't go to 7, which are these red rounds there. The outer round, I believe, is half double crochet, but just stop at the double crochet round, which is one right next to the blue. And that's 7 inches using the J hook. And the last channel, I hope I put it in there. If I did not put it in there, I'll try to remember to write it in, and that's Kashana Renee. Y'all, she's so stinking cute. She's young. And I put beside her name, the new kid on the block. She has all these fresh and wonderful ideas, and to go along with her on her journey is fascinating. Please don't forget Naughty Autistic Granny. Knowing that she's been crocheting for almost a year. Guys, she made the 6-day blanket. the 6-day star blanket. She made it. She has made a blanket for her husband. She's made this beautiful shawl, and she's done cowls and hats, and her work is beautiful. And she always spices them up with some type of ornament. She used to make jewelry, and oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Thank you, Tina. Thank you. She is adorable. I think you will absolutely love her. Oh, I think you will absolutely. She reminds me of my granny. She does. My granny, Miss Fanny Chester, from back home in Wilson, North Carolina. Granny and I had a routine. When I went to her house in the morning, she kept me while my grandmother was at work. But when I went to her house in the morning, we would go in, and the first thing I did was put my bags down for the day, and then I would go wash my face and hands and get ready for breakfast. I was young, so she wasn't allowing me to help her in the kitchen yet. And we'd go in, we'd get breakfast done, but I wasn't too young to learn how to wash dishes, because that's what happened after we ate breakfast. And then we would go out back and pull the coal in for the day, because she had coal burning stoves. And she basically stayed in one room. She had 2 bedrooms, a huge living room. That living room was huge. And then a bathroom, a long walk-in closet. The back home, we had these long, wide hallways, and they looked more like rooms in the middle of the house. They were so wide, you couldn't reach out and touch the walls. It's like 2 people could stand side by side and do it. They were at least 8 feet wide. At least 8 feet wide. So the back part of her hallway was like, it was more like an eating nook. And then all the way to the back was the pantry and the kitchen on the back side. And we go from the kitchen to outdoors, gather our coal up for the day. At the beginning of every month, we would make lye soap. So we had to get the big cauldron and hook it up over make the fire underneath, and pour the water in and pour the lye in, and, we had all of that, because it was not a one-day process. You have to cook it down. You have to add all the fat and stuff to it and cook it down and let it bubble up and let it settle. And then you have to soften it up and do it again and let it settle. And then you have to scrape all the stuff off the top. Even though that makes soap, it's not like as lathery as the stuff at the bottom. And then you would take the bottom out and you cut it up into bars. So I'm a country girl, y'all, I'm telling you. So we would go from that, and we'd come in and we wash up, and then we go out front and we would sweep the front porch. And then we would sweep the yard. Yes, sweep the yard. We didn't have grass. Grass, what is that? Now, she did have a big field beside her house that would have made a beautiful garden, but she was up in age and not able to take care of it. So it was just a field, and she would get that cut, during the summer, during the warmer months. But that's the only grass we had. That's the only grass we had. The front yard, no grass. Sweep front porch. Yep. Sweep front yard. I'm turning my squares into a blanket because I don't like sewing squares together. And that's understandable. And that option was given. You can take one square and turn it into a blanket if that's what you like. You can do one of each and put them in 4 corners, or do 2, or however you want to do it. The choice is yours. I'm just giving you, yes, we swept the front yard. There was no grass. We had hard dirt. We had hard dirt, and we had a walkway. We had a rock walkway, and we had to make sure that walkway, and we had those little leaves, we had the chainy balls and the I forgot what the other trees were, but they had the little helicopter, I call them the helicopter things that came down. So they had those thin, long leaves. So when those little leaves would fall, not in autumn when the massive leaf fall came. We would rake the yard then. But during the summer and the spring and even the winter, we would sweep the front yard. We had a yard broom. And it was the same thing at Grandma's house. When we lived on Green Street, we had a corner lot. And we would sweep the front yard there. Okay, yes. Sounds right. I thought maple had the big pretty leaves. These had those little long thin leaves. They were just long and skinny. I don't know. I'm not a, what do they call those? Herbologist? I probably tore that up. But yeah, that was fun. At my grandmama's house, our backyard had grass. That's where we kept my dog. My dog's name was Rex. He was a thoroughbred German Shepherd. And I don't know who loved who more, me loving him or him loving me. And we had a coal and wood shed out in our backyard. And the way we kept our grass cut, I was the only kid in the neighborhood with a radio flyer car. A radio flyer car. I'd get in that car and I'd pedal it all over. And I mean, every day I was out there pedaling my car. And that's pretty much how grass stayed. Because between Rex running all over that yard and me pedaling all over that yard, we didn't really, the grass never got tall. It never got tall. It never, I was an outdoorsy type girl. Yeah, I was. But we had this tree in the front yard. I used to call it my throne. It was huge. Talk about tree hugging. There was no way you could wrap your arms around that tree. All you could do is just lean into it. But the base of the tree had this one little space. It almost looked like a toilet seat top because it was like dirt in the middle. And then it had the root that grew around it. But it was a perfect seat. It was a perfect seat. And then you step down about 2 feet, and it had another ridge that was a little wider. And then you step down to the ground level, but it was enough root on top of the ground that you could sit there if you wanted to. And of course, we didn't care about the ants and stuff back then. I used to use the ants. I used the black ants for the blueberry pie, the blueberry mud pie. I used the red ants for the cherry mud pie. And we just used the dirt. And it was hard to get dirt. It was hard to muster up the dirt because we had hard packed dirt. So you'd have to sit there and scrape. And I was a nail biter, so it wasn't like I could use my nails. You scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape until you work for your mud pies. You absolutely worked for your mud pies. I don't care how much we swept the yard. You worked for your mud. And my grandmama had the audacity to put the little flower fences up. This is y'all's story. So, the little, not ladders, but they had the 2 poles, and then they had the 2 supporting things that went along them. About 2 feet wide each. So Grandma had probably about a dozen of them, and she lined what was supposed to be. Grandma didn't have a walkway. Our walkway was the path that we just normally took walking up to the front of the house. But we had those, and she wanted to outline where the yard was because being on a corner lot, everybody cuts across your yard. And she wanted to minimize that traffic. So she put that fence up. And her thing was she wanted to one day grow grass. And even as a child, somehow I knew there would never be any grass in that yard. It just was not going to happen. And every year she was out there. My cousin and I were out there throwing grass seeds. Every year. We didn't have the machine. We didn't have the pouch that you can reach in, and we had to hold the bag. One of us would hold the bag while the other one threw seeds. And when we got to the other side of the makeshift walkway, the other one would hold the bag and the other one would throw seeds. So I had fun, y'all. I'm sitting here reminiscing with y'all, and it's bringing back the time. Oh, I'm getting all warm and fuzzy inside. But at any rate, it was supposed to keep the traffic down. Well, somebody came through running one time, and they broke one of the little things on the fence. And my mother and I had gone to the store, and we came back home racing to get in the house. And I tried to jump across one of those little fences. Y'all, I got these 2 little scrapes where those nails scratched into my leg. And of course, back then I was like, ah! But every time I look at those scars on my leg, I think about racing my mama that day. So it's amazing how sometimes things that we think are bad in the moment can actually almost be medicine for our soul in the future, because to me as a child, to get those scratches, and I had pretty legs. Oh my goodness, I had the most beautiful skin. And when I got those scratches, those were my first real scars. I think I was 4, if I'm not mistaken. I was either 3 or 4. And when I got those scars, I screamed like life itself was over. I did. Oh, I screamed and I screamed. And it took a lot to make me cry when I was little. It took a lot. Guys, when I was little, every weekend until I was 6, because that's when I sustained my head injury, every weekend, I don't care where we lived, I was in Richmond at West Hospital, where I was born, I had to wear braces on my legs every weekend. It was 2 hours, take a break, 2 hours, take a break, 2 hours, go home. So 6 hours every single Saturday, because the other option was to break my feet and turn them outward. I was so pigeon-toed that I could literally touch my left heel with my right toe and my right heel with my left toe almost at the same time. That's how pigeon-toed I was. And in an effort to pull my feet back out right, Catholic hospitals don't believe in doing a lot of cutting anyway. So that was the option that we went with. And every Saturday I was there with my legs turning out. And I guess that's why it wasn't easy for me to cry, because I had, gone through so much. For me, it wasn't traumatizing because I had to do it. I had been doing it since I was 6 months old. And it was quite natural, by that time. And I guess that I was pigeon-toed. I wasn't bow-legged. My grandkids are bow-legged. My grandkids, they have the most beautiful bow legs. I think Pete, not so much now as when he was a baby. When he was a baby, I wish I could find those pictures. But, they're probably in my laptop. That takes forever. If I plug my laptop in right now and turn it on, I might be able to show you pictures next weekend. It might come on by then. But Pete's legs, they look just like parentheses. And now Oompa, bless her heart, when she stands, her legs are about like that. It's like but Pete's were just like that. Pete was like this guy that I grew up with, bless his heart. He was so bow-legged. Finally got his legs straightened out when he was 30. But he was so bow-legged. We call him Mooney. We call him Mooney because his legs made a circle. And he was very dark complected. So dark like night, Mooney. I don't even know Mooney's real name. That's how bad it was. We just all knew him as Mooney. But yeah, yeah, I used to have to go get those braces put on my legs. So yeah, like I said, sometimes I think, in the moment, in the moment you may be going through something or something will happen. Um, and it seems bad for right then, but sometimes it's building character. Okay. Okay. But sometimes it builds character. Sometimes it gives you a strength that you didn't know you had. And sometimes it provides a pleasant or a warm fuzz. What were you doing to get that mark? The second time I got a scar was when I was 7, just about to turn 8. Same leg on the inner side. One was like right by my calf muscle. That's where the 2 nails went. But then right below my knee, I have another scar that I got from my bicycle. The dog that stayed 2 doors down from us would not let me ride my bicycle up and down the street. It was my first time riding my bicycle down that end of the street. And he started chasing me. And it took me until I was grown to realize that when dogs chase you on a bicycle, they're not chasing the person, they're chasing the wheels. The tires. That's what they're chasing, is something in the rotation of the tires. That's why they chase cars and trucks and bicycles and motorcycles. It's the rotation of the tires that draws their attention. And it took me to be grown, like in my 50s, before I finally realized that. But that's a little nugget of knowledge I could drop on y'all. But yeah, that from where the dog chased me, I still have that mark there. But even still, that particular, when that happened, my mom was, I think she was the secretary of the Garden Club Portsmouth chapter, and we had gone to Richmond. One of the major storms was due in town that weekend. And it all sounds bad, but it's not. Just bear with me for a moment. So we're in town, we're in Richmond. We stayed at the Jefferson Hotel. And my mom came up from her meeting. Me and Aunt Willie were in the room while she was downstairs at her meeting. My mom came up to the room and she's like, pack up quick. We got to go. Me, I don't know. I'm like 8 or 9 years old. And yeah, so it must have been 8 when I got that scar. 8, not 9. Okay, 8, not 7. But as we're leaving the hotel, and if you don't know Richmond, Richmond is not the mountains, but it's very hilly. As we're leaving the hotel, we're looking behind us, and it's like you could see the rain coming. My mama's hightailing it out there. We got our little Toyota Corolla Mark IV, and we're hightailing it out there. By the time we got home, we lived 90 minutes away from Richmond. By the time we got home and turned on the TV, we stayed on the 2nd floor of the Jefferson Hotel. The Jefferson Hotel had flooded up to the 4th floor. But the fact that I was with my mom, and for the Friday night that we were there, Friday and Saturday were good days. It came on a Sunday. But that Friday night when we got there, when we had their first meeting, I went down to the eating area where they were having their meeting, and the people in the kitchen fell in love with me. Guys, they took me in that kitchen. I had all the apple pie I wanted. I had all the ice cream. I had all the ice cream I wanted, and I love liver. I had all the beef liver I wanted. They fed me like like they were fattening me up to be somebody's meal. Everything I saw in that kitchen that I wanted, they gave me. My mom said that when I left, because I don't remember leaving the dining area. She said, baby, we almost had to roll you up. She said, you looked miserable. You looked absolutely miserable. I couldn't have been so miserable, guys, because I still remember that apple pie and the ice cream with it. They put a little bit of whipped cream and a cherry on top. I didn't even know that I liked cherries. I had olives for the first time, olives with pits. And I know a lot of people don't like olives, but I love olives. And if they got that pimento in them, oh my goodness. Oh, those were the days. Yes. Y'all see that gleam in my eye? Yeah, but like I said, sometimes it can be a bad situation, you know, not a horrifying situation, but a bad situation. But it'll bring a chuckle, or it'll bring a smile, or it'll bring that warm, fuzzy feeling. So sometimes we got to walk through that storm just to see what's on the other side. We have to walk through the storm just to see what's on the other side. So if I can be any encouragement to anybody who may need it, keep walking. Keep walking through that storm. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't turn back. Keep going. See what's on the other side. They told me there's always light at the end of the tunnel unless it's a dead end. And even though I read the word on signs, I don't believe there's such a thing as a dead end. Maybe you can't get through it with a car, but if you hop out and run, you can sure get through it. So, the end ain't but so dead. I'm just saying. That is my philosophy. Remember, I will remember those words. That's why I'm able to sit here with y'all and smile. Like I said, I look forward to being here with y'all. You all bring the pleasantries of my life out of me. You all bring the good things, the happiness, the joy, you know, and speaking of the garden club, the lady that got her in the garden club was the lady who taught me to crochet. You know, another thing about Miss Lena real quick, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. So not only was Miss Lena, I used to call her the army housewife. She just had this real sternness about her. And she and her husband were both mulatta as well. And she used to tease me because of my nose. And I got my nose from my father. And she was like, she would always say, "You sure they didn't switch you at birth? You sure you're your grandmama's grandbaby?" And I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." But at any rate, she and her husband had a house down in Kill Devil. No, it wasn't. Uh-uh. Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. How could I forget that? Kitty. Come on now. They had a house down in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And every summer, they would go down to their summer place. And Mr. Larry would build games like spinning wheels and darts and all kinds of carnival games that he would build those. And that's what they would have at that house on the beach every summer. And it was so fascinating. That's why I found out I was allergic to cats. But we would go down there at the beginning of every summer and help them set everything up. Well, this particular summer, we go down there and she had this beautiful orange cat that I absolutely loved every time I went down there. And this particular year, this was the year after I received the head injury. So my mom still wasn't letting me do too much. She was like, "You go down there and sit in the beach chair. You go down there to the beach. Don't get in that water." I'm like, "Okay." And every time me and this particular cat got together, I never knew the cat's name. Every time we got together, you couldn't keep us apart. And I went and laid back in the lounge chair, and the cat jumped up on me and got right here under my neck. And we were both knocked out. You could hear the cat snoring. I don't even know if I was snoring back then. But my mom came and woke us up. And when she woke me up, I told her I can't see. And she was like, what the hell is wrong with you? What happened to your eyes? Y'all, my eyes were so swollen. My eyes looked like I had been beaten with lounge chair. My eyes were huge, swollen. I mean, they was literally swollen shut. They were literally swollen shut. And I had welts across my chest where the cat was laying. And Miss Lena said she's allergic to the cat. And they took me inside and gave me one of Miss Lena's shirts. They took me out of the shirt I had on, gave me one of her shirts, made me take a bath, and put me on one of her shirts as a dress. I had to come home in Miss Lena's shirt. By the time we got halfway down the road, I could open my eyes a little bit. I could see a little bit. But see, that's another moment. It could have been a bad moment. But warm and fuzzies, warm and fuzzies. And I'm so happy that those stories can bring back pleasant memories for you. I really, really, really am. That's why I love sharing them so much. If I can bring up happy memories for people, that makes me feel so much better too. Guys, we have been here for almost an hour and a half. And I have enjoyed every second of it. I have. I cannot tell you enough how much I love you all. I can't tell you how much I thank you for being here and for being a part of my moments and giving me more and better memories as I progress in age or as I become more seasoned. Please, 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 in hearing me tell you that I love you and knowing that I love you, do not forget to love yourselves, because you can't love others the way they deserve to be loved unless you first love yourself the way you deserve to be loved. To each one of you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.